We still have a lot of problems going on at Arsenal, and I think there's so many different things now that are contributing towards the end of the season and all these other things that have happened, like crashing out of the UCL. And I think there is a lot to be spoken about, but there's also a lot to be praised. So I don't want anyone to get confused. I don't want this to be seen as some kind of hate video. This is not a hate video. I am so proud of this team. I am so proud of how far we've come. We used to have one of the worst defences, one of the worst teams in terms of Big Six clubs going. And we were a banter club for a very long time. And that was a very long period where I didn't even get to see my team play in the Champions League, which was brutal. But now we do play in the Champions League. We are going to be playing it next season. We've had two phenomenal seasons. It's a great transfer windows, but there's still some problems that I really do want sorted out, and I want them sorted out sooner rather than later. My main problem with this Arsenal team has been keeping around some of the wrong players. Now, I think getting rid of Aubameyang in that period was a great call. I think getting rid of Lacazette at that time was a great call. I don't think keeping Eddie Nketiah for the last 2 years has been a great call, considering we had a £20 million offer in for him, which I would have cashed in instantly. In a heartbeat, that would have been cashed in. But we still have some kind of problem here with the depth of squad, and this is where it comes from. And this is the exact same thing that I was on about the other day on my Instagram. Before we continue with this video, I'd just like to mention that only a small percentage of you are actually subscribed to my channel. If you could please click the subscribe button, it's free, it costs nothing, and you can always unsubscribe. I am also trying to hit 5,000 subscribers as quickly as humanly possible, so any support towards that would mean the world to me. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the video. We have a super sub that is Eddie Nketiah. And that's what he is, basically. That's what he's been labelled as. He's not starting games. He's not coming on, the 60th minute. He's coming on in the 80th minute because Mikel has clearly given up. I completely agree that Mikel has given up. I completely agree that I've given up on Nketiah. But it's not just Nketiah. There's still some factors in some of our star players which I don't actually like. Now, one thing that I've noticed, Saka, don't get me wrong, before everyone starts hating on me, he's a brilliant player. But this man cannot break the first man in a corner. I've seen this on 80% of his corners now. And that's a lot, man. And every time Declan Rice takes a corner, I sit there, I'm confident that ball's going to hit the box. But Bukayo Saka cannot take corners, yet he still gets put on them. I don't understand why in the 90th minute against Bayern, where you're losing, you put Saka on the corner. Because we all knew, deep down, me as well, and I even predicted it, he's not breaking the first man, and he didn't. And this is what I've been trying to say for months and months and months. Why is this guy on corners? I think he's a great footballer. I think he's amazing. But at the end of the day, if you cannot break the first man on 80% of your corners, why are you still taking them? I understand that Declan Rice has to kind of sit back a little bit, make sure he's there for the defence and stuff, and you can't have him on every single corner. I get that part. But realistically, we 100% have someone else in that squad who can take corners. It's not Saka. He can't take corners. I don't want to see him on corners again, but I will, and I know I will. And this is the recurring theme. There are some things with Mikel that just don't really add up as much. And obviously, he's still a young manager. I'm not going to sit here and slate him because he's brought happiness back to this club and our fans as well, because I know that everyone else is happy. Even though we went out of the UCL, we went very far. And, if we would have said that we would have been challenging in a semi-final, quarter-final, anything like that, then everyone would have been up for it because it's a really good achievement for how far we've come as well. I mean, 4 years ago, you would have laughed at anyone that would have said that to your face. Now we're in a position where we can actually win stuff, and I just feel like there's still some dead wood lying around that just needs to go. And my main people that need to go, I think, are Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith Rowe. Get rid of Cedric. Just get rid of Cedric. He's probably going to go anyway. But them types of players need to go. I think there's a lot of players that need to stay, and I hope they get signed on new contracts. But, there's some other players that I wouldn't mind if they got sold. I wouldn't mind if Zinchenko got sold. I think a lot of us could agree with that now. But I wouldn't mind it. I'm not going to sit here and hate on him and say all this bad stuff. But I said it again on Instagram. I said, if Zinchenko starts any of these final games, we lose. And we did. and he hasn't started the game since. So this is what I'm saying. Mikel knew the risk of what Zinchenko brings, but I don't think he understood just how, terribly he would play, and how much he gives the ball away, all these other problems, and leaving the defense short, the offsides, the just keeping in line has been atrocious. And he said it himself. He's not even good at defending. Like, he even said this stuff himself. And this is what I'm saying. We have players in the club where, they're a striker, they're a defender, and they're sitting there going, "Oh, I'm not even good at finishing. I'm not even good at defending." And that's what worries me. And that's who I think needs to go, because if they don't go, this attitude is going to rub off on other people. It's gonna get a bit, tense and stuff like it is now, because at the end of the season, when it comes down to it, you still got these people doing these dumb things. And Gabriel Jesus, I love Gabriel Jesus, but again, man, he came out the other day and he's like, "Oh, there isn't a game where my body don't hurt." And I understand that with footballers, you're always going to have something going on, but you can't say that. Just don't say that. And then he said that he's like, his best thing isn't attacking. Obviously, I know it's dribbling, like, and stuff, which is technically attacking, but at the same time, it's like you can dribble out from defense and stuff. But I understand that point. I understand what he is getting at in terms of that he isn't, the out and out goal scorer that everyone really, really wants. I think he's a great footballer. I just think he just doesn't know how to shoot, and the dribbling, the cutbacks, and all this. It's like, with Zinchenko, it feels like he thinks you score a goal by nutmegging someone. This guy is literally just going for nutmegs, and I'm sitting there just like, please, will you just like? I know you want to be like have a little bit of flair, get a little bit of excitement and stuff, and I understand that, and I get that, but like every time to go for a nutmeg is really annoying, and it's pathetic to watch. I don't want to watch certain players play again, and that's not me being like horrible or anything. It's just an opinion, because I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you can't be this harsh, you can't be like this, you can't be like that." You can, when it's warranted, and in this situation, it's warranted. I think the Bukayo Saka corner thing is tragic. If you can't make it past the first man on your corner, why are you taking them? What is the thought process behind it? That's what I want to understand. Zinchenko as well, as I've said, he leaves us short at the back. He goes for stupid stuff, and then, gets tackled, bang, 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 goal. And we've actually like had problems with this since last season, and I think now is the time for him to go as well. So this is what I'm saying. We got a few players, they need to go. We got a few other players, they need to be, taken off corners, taken off certain responsibilities, put on other responsibilities. But I just don't understand some of the thought process behind Mikel Arteta. I'm not going to question it, because he is amazing in what he's done, and he has brought joy back to fans like me. And, I can finally banter people again and not just be the laughing stock. But at the same time, it's like we really do need to focus on these things, because at the end of the season, like now, I think, we could still win the league fine, but I don't think we're going to. I think we're still in phase 4, and phase 5 is like it. I think once the striker comes in, once that type of stuff comes in, a new left back, a new centre mid maybe, I think we'll be all good for next season to go and challenge on for stuff again. I mean, we're challenging this season again, second season in a row. We're doing very well. We are top right now. That probably will change very soon. I mean, we've got to play Chelsea tonight, so fingers crossed we can close that out. But I just sincerely hope that some of these situations that we're putting ourselves in, we can fizzle these out next season. And when we do get to a part where it's really, really difficult and really, really intense and the boys are struggling, we have players there with a mentality and just the experience to get people over the line. And I love Jorginho for this exact thing. The experience that Jorginho provides been amazing. And I think that's been one of the best signings of Mikel Arteta's era, because what he's done and what he's come in to do is amazing. He's learning how to be a coach at the same time while being at Arsenal, which basically shows that he wants to manage. He wants to do this stuff, and he's trying to help young players. He's been doing so much for the club, which is surprising considering he came from Chelsea, but he's done so much for the club that I respect this man. I respect quite a few of the players that have come through. But as I've said, you're not going to win a Premier League, a Champions League with the weakness of the squad depth. Nketiah as a super sub is embarrassing. I'm sorry, but it's true. as much as I want to sit here and respect Nketiah, I don't like you as a football player. Like, I just don't. I've said it for 3 years. I've never, ever, ever turned back on that opinion. Even when he got the hat-trick against Sheffield, even when he scored the brace against Chelsea, even when he scored against United to win it, I never, ever, ever, ever said, oh, I hope this guy stays, because I don't hope he stays. I just want there to be a good shift this summer. I want a striker in, I want a centre mid in, I want a left back in, and I want people to be moved on. If we can, make some profit, that'll be amazing, but I don't think we're going to. I think that we'll probably take, 60, 75% of the amount that we paid for him, and that's absolutely fine. But let's just get some mentality in this team. Let's get some, real experienced guys, a big hitter up front, and I think we can win it all.